750, you can?
Hashem,
You
Hashem,
walk in here, you pray
Hashem,
minyan.
650, 750.
705 first Kaddish.
This room here?
This. Whole floor. Okay?
And then they go upstairs?
Oh,
The 705.
No, they'll make it. They
They'll
don't.
make
you
it?
guys are gonna pray here. You're gonna pray, you know?
יתמח צדק.
Ah, do
Hashem,
we?
Hashem, Hashem, Hashem.
There's a piece of it.
Yeah. So it says like this. So he said yesterday that you're not allowed to make the images that were on the Madora Shechinad, which are on the in Shemaim, in the Kisei Yaakov over there, by the Madora Shechina. So it's very hard for us to understand, like we said, what this means, because in spirituality it's nothing to do with physicality. We understand spirituality in physical terms, it's really not like that. So in the images that we said you're not allowed to do, we said the lion, the ox, the person, and the eagle, you can't make them in one image. You can't have them in one image, one picture. That's only talking about if it's in like bulging. We need to say when you have a picture that's flat, then you have indented inside, and then you have it bulging, protruding, where you could feel it out. Right? So that's when it's also to make this image. Right? However, if you want, what? But yeah, but it's allowed to be drawn. If it's not bulging, it's okay. You want to draw it, that's okay, right? However, the sun and the moon, even if it's engraved or even if it's flat, would consist of an isser, right? So there is he brings over here a shut min Yitzchak that asks, are you allowed to take a picture of the sun? Everybody likes to take a picture of the sun, right? Especially if it's sunset, it's very pretty. So min Yitzchak says that it's asser. It's the same thing like drawing the sun or having a picture of the sun. I'm gonna look into it a little bit more. I'll give you a final, conclusion. Hopefully, B'ezrat Hashem next time.
Like when kids sit there, draw on.
So the kids sit there and they draw it. Really, be'etzem, they're not really drawing the sun or the moon. It doesn't really look like the sun or the moon. But if they really know how to draw the sun and the moon, yeah, that would be aser. And Moshe says you shouldn't let children do it because eventually, they're gonna do it right, and it's gonna be a kamas to them once they get to the age of chinuch. Why even let them start doing it all together? Right?
Why, they're going to start worshiping them?
So that was the original issue that the Torah says. It's a pasuk in the Torah that says you're not allowed to make any images that are the mishamshim of Hashem and Shemaim, the sun, the moon, stars. You can't create those images. You can't paint those images. So even though you might say today we don't worship them, right? But there are people in the world that worship them, and back in the day it was very prominent to worship them. And the Torah says that it's us. Once it's us, it's us. We can't say, okay, I don't worship it, I could do it. It doesn't work like that. Once the halacha asks it for everybody, the asks it for everybody. So I can't tell you that we hold like this la halacha in regards to this min Yitzchak that he says it's us to take a picture of. He is a big posik. It's not like so if he says that it's us, it's something to be concerned about. But I'm going to look into to see, right, if taking a picture is different than drawing, because I'm not so sure how pictures work. Is it the same thing like a drawing or not? There is rather an interesting story. The min Yitzchak. I'll tell you guys. The min Yitzchak Weiss, I think his name was a very big Talmid Chacham. And he wanted to get married, and when he was dating, when he was in dating stages, he was dating some girl, and after they got engaged before the wedding, he found out that this girl has a certain condition that if she bleeds, she could bleed to death. Like there is a sickness like this. All in about that some bleed what? A girl, yeah. Like if she bleeds, whenever she needs to bleed, when she bleeds, so she could bleed to death. There's a condition like this. There's a sickness like that they could bleed to death. Some people just pass out, whatever it might be.
Part of the body, or no,
specifically when she's supposed to, right? That she could bleed to death.
Really?
So he didn't want, but he didn't know what to do. He didn't want to hurt her feelings to break off the shidduch. He said, you know what? I'm not gonna hurt her feelings. I'm just gonna marry her. He ended up marrying her. They ended up having one kid, and she ended up dying. He got remarried. He couldn't have kids for a long time. They went to the doctor tested both of them. The doctor told the rabbi, there's no way in the world that you could ever have kids. The rabbi said, what do you mean? I already have one kid. He's like, impossible. He's like, there's no way in the world that you could have ever had a kid. It's impossible. Right? And they say, you see from there, the fact that he didn't want to break this girl's heart, and he was mevater, he married her, because this Baruch Hu made a miracle for him, gave him a child from her. If he wouldn't have married her, he would never had a kid. There's an interesting story that happened with Yitzchak Weiss. The koach of caring for another person. Right? The koach of caring for another person. What? the strength of caring for another person, right?
Is that the girl? Did the girl know that? She has that permission? She has to know.
Yes, she knows. Yeah, she knows. Yeah. The Torah limud. So if you need to do it for learning purposes, so then you're allowed to make those two four faces that we mentioned. The lion, whatever it might be. But today, who really does this to learn? If you want to learn astronomy or these type of things, you'll be able to draw all these things in order to be able to make all these things, in order to be able to learn and to understand astronomy. Who knows astronomy today? Barely anyone knows astronomy today. If you look at the art scroll in the Gemara in Rosh Hashanah, when it describes all the astronomy over there, who explained everything on the bottom? Rabbi Belsky, Rosh Hashiva, right? Zatzal, they had a book of him over here. He's the one who explained. He knew astronomy. He was a very big professional in astronomy. They say a story that he was in camp one time. He was a very big member. I was sitting in a shir, and he was explaining to us how the sun, the moon, the stars, how astronomy works, setting, looking, when you could go check the rays. He was like explaining everything to us in class. This is things that are very hard for he was one time in camp in upstate, and he looked up to the sky and he saw that there was a star that was there that wasn't supposed to be there. And they called up NASA, and NASA looked into it, and they realized that there was a star in a certain area that wasn't supposed to be there. And I was told that they called it the Belsky star based on that. This is what I was told. I wasn't there to witness it. This is what I was told, right? But the point being, he's a very professional, professional in astronomy. Understood this stuff very well, right? So if a person would be wanting to learn these type of things, then you would be able to draw it because you're doing it for the purpose of learning. That Chamid didn't said that over there and would be used. Now, the image of a person, there's a machloket exactly if the image of a person is aster, even the head, or only the whole body. So we said, La halacha, we hold the Shulchan Aruch holds like the Rosh, it's only the whole body. The Ar Machmirim, that also just the head is asur. For example, if the ladies have those things, they put the shaitels on. What is that called? Mannequin?
Yeah.
Right, they put the head mannequin. Right, so api halacha, that's mutar, but there are those that are machmir, that you can't have a head mannequin, right, in of itself. So there you see some people that have these head mannequins and they cut off their nose. You ever see that? You didn't see it, right? I says that they cut off that, they remove the shape of the face in order not to come to this machloket of whether a head mannequin would be mutar. Yeah.
Store mannequin, full body.
Yeah, that's the isser. Right. That would be usher to make. Yeah, if you would want to make it and have it, it would be usher. Yes.
But if you cut off the nose?
If you take one part of it off, that it's not a full human being, for example, if you cut off a toe, is also okay. It doesn't have a full image of a human being. You see that something is missing. It wouldn't be a part of this issue. That would be okay.
There's a museum in Manhattan. You're not allowed to go there?
You're allowed to go to a museum to see it. You're allowed to go to wax museums and see it. You can't buy it, you can't make it. If they offer to make a wax image of you, and you want to keep it at home, that you're not allowed to do. Right? They do 3D printing. Right? They make an image of you, they make an image of him, they can make an image of whoever you want. Right? That would be a problem. Right? Say, I don't know, say you loved your dedushka, you want to make a wax image of him or something like that, you want to keep in your house, and I don't know, you can't do these type of things. Right? You can't do these type of things.
But
right?
you're allowed to go to any sports game? Like basketball, hockey?
So by sports, there's an issur of Moshav Leitzim. You're not allowed to go to sports games because of Moshav Leitzim. It's an issur like the Chachamim say in the Gemara. You can't go to sports games. You can't go to stadiums where they have animals fighting and so on and so forth. It's considered Moshav Leitzim. It's a place of scoffers or whatever else you want to call them. Leitz is like a degrading statement. It's not a statement for a person that's befitting of our stature to go to. Chamim didn't like it. I remember my son, he was playing baseball. He was on a baseball team in the summertime, and his whole team, they were going to baseball, the Mets game, whatever it is. So I asked my Rosh Hashiva, he said, don't take him. Don't take him, don't start, don't get him used to it. Don't take him to these type of places. Moshav Leitzim, you can play sports, but to go to a sports game is Moshav Leitzim. It's an Issa D'Rabbanan to go to a place like that.
Why?
Because it's a Moshav Leitzim. It's not a place for people. Well, why? You see what it turned into. Sports is a very bad addiction.
You can't go see like a UFC fight or any
What, for gambling? People afraid they're going to start gambling or something?
No, that's for sure. That's a different problem. But there's a big. So if you halacha, it's Moshav Leitzim. It's not a proper place to go. Chamim didn't like it. It's called Moshav Leitzim.
So it's preferable that you don't go, or it's mamash isur rabbanan? Like they made like a degree.
It's you can't say it's mamash Isur Rabbanan, but it's a light Isur.
Something that is frowned upon.
Yes, so it's a degrading thing to do.
But no problem watching by TV.
That's a different story, right?
Ці взагалі не
No,
можна.
гледаме TV так. Интернет, можеш за?
А, інтернет.
За.
It's not Moshav Leitzim if you watch it on TV. It's a waste of time because I don't know sports. You see people get addicted to sports. They sit there 2, 3, 4 hours watching people throw a ball and run around. And Baruch Hashem, I never liked sports. I don't know. I was never into sports. I never really
No, because
found
Russian
it.
people grow up nice playing the sports.
I know,
That's why
but
it's,
to me it seems like a very brainless thing to watch. I don't know. Everybody's different. I can't say anything. To me, that's what it seems because I don't like sports. Some people like sports. I personally don't like sports. I think it's pointless. I don't understand why somebody would want to sit down in one spot for 2-3 hours and watch people throw a ball. They have nothing better to do.
No, I'm not basketball, hockey, it's interesting.
Ні, мільйони
Box.
перед люди сидять і витратять. Чисто кидали.
The truth is, people bet on that. That's a different story. There's a lot of people, even amongst our community, they put very big bets on this. Yeah, no, I'm not talking about that. That's something else. Betting and this is two different things. Even if you're not betting, just saying, but sports becomes an addiction. A lot of people become addicted to it. It becomes a very big problem. They waste a lot of their lives watching sports. Everybody makes a big deal. I don't even know what it's called. Halftime, I don't know, whatever. Whatever, all this stuff all this stuff with the sports and stuff like that. Whatever it might be. I remember when I was a kid, everybody liked boxing when Mike Tyson was around, right? Everyone used to get together and they used to watch boxing till 1 o'clock in the morning, right? But look, if you to have a TV in of itself is already a question, right? Whether or not you're allowed to have a TV in of itself. But it's not Moshav Leitzim if you would watch a basketball game on your phone or something like
For
that.
example, person cannot live 24 hours with the Torah. It's also supposed to be some small break, for the summer. No, I mean for the make exercise or make something.
So go make exercise. Working
Go
out is
fishing
healthy.
with the friends,
So
or
go
do
fishing with your
something.
friends. There's nothing wrong with fishing. You go exercising. I wasn't talking about fishing and exercising. Go on vacation,
No,
go
because when you
fixing,
go to the fish,
go
of course,
exercising,
it's
go
gonna be
work,
different.
go do whatever you want.
Make a charge of That's why it's got different stores.
No.
Sometimes you don't
There are things that are asur.
You're not going by yourself. You go with the company.
There are things that are asur. There are things that are mutar.
You gotta be kosher, people.
But even the things that are mutar, for example, if a person has a balanced life, he wakes up in the morning, he comes, he davens, he learns, he goes to shoot Torah, he goes to work afterwards, he comes home, he spends time with whatever, then afterwards he goes to learn again, right? Okay, that's normal if a person needs to take a vacation off, right? So he takes a vacation, he goes somewhere kosher, not to Aruba on a beach or mixed beach. That's not kosher, right? Right? That's asur, right? I'm saying if a person, say, would go to upstate New York with his friends, everything is fine. He wants to sit, he wants to go fishing, he wants to drink beer, he wants to play shesh go ahead and do it. It's not asur. It's not asur to do. The problem is not these things are not asur. The problem is that when you do it every day, all the time. Right? When you ruin your life or something like that, you're just wasting your time, that's a problem. Right? When a person wants it, these things are not asur. Here we're talking about going to a baseball game is considered Moshav Leitzim. Sitting in such a place is considered Moshav Leitzim. Gambling bichlal is a different issue. A place of scoffers. Look into Hilim, the first parak, I think over there David HaMelech says, don't sit amongst Moshav Leitzim. Look at the Mefarshim over there what Moshav Leitzim means. So he said yesterday, Lefi halacha, you're allowed to take pictures. Pictures you're allowed to take of people because it's not, you're never a full image in pictures. There are those that are mach, we're not to take pictures, but we're not. The minhag is that we take pictures, not a problem. Right? Children's dolls. We said yesterday, we said last time, children's dolls are okay. Right? According to Ravad, it says children's dolls are okay, even though some Ramach that you should take up a part of it. But Ravad says children's dolls are okay. Animals, fishes, all these different types of things, trees, all these different types of things that you're allowed. All these other things, Chamim, in the Torah, Never Asad, Chamim, Never Asad, all these things are okay. Now, even though all the other images are okay, but in shul, in a place where you play, that you shouldn't do. Some people, they have, on the parochet, lions, animals, fishes, you know what I'm talking about? That's asur lefi halakha. You're not allowed. There were those that were may kill, but we're not somech on that. It's asur to do that.
No, there's an
Right, exactly. Right. Asur livnot bayit.
Not only this, it's in the house also, right?
Man, house okay.
In the the house, okay?
Yeah, you want to put images of lions or stuff like this, okay. Every Bukharian they do, they put lions in front of the house over there. Why? Why do they put lions in front of the house? Like Shlomo HaMelech?
The image,
Huh?
so the prikapust.
Even cemetery, you go and on the stone, it's 90% people put a line.
Что-то Мадана
Covers a line.
спрятан, одна нога стоит.
I hear.
You should танцуй тоже.
Right, okay, טוב. אסור לבנות בית וכדמית אחד של בית המקדש. You're not allowed to build your house in the image of the Beit HaMikdash. So you know what? I love the way the Beit HaMikdash looks. I want to build my house like the Beit HaMikdash. Right? You're not allowed. You're not allowed to build your house in the measurements and in the form and the look of the Beit HaMikdash.
Then there's a shoulder like.
Okay, it's not exact. It just they made it represent it a little bit, but it doesn't have the measurement of the. It just looks like it on the outside a little bit. Why not? You have somebody that'll take out this book, Beit HaMikdash book. They learn every single detail of what the Beit HaMikdash. You bring a what's his name, blueprint engineer, architect. Tell him, listen, I want you to build me a house like this. You could build it. Yeah, you have money, you can do it, right? Some people will do it, right? You're not allowed to make.
Doing the same exact measurements, or
Yes. It's also to do it in the same exact measurements in the same exact image, correct? Right? It says over here also, you're not allowed to make the table. If you take the table at the Beit HaMikdash, you want to make the same type of exact table like you have in your house. You're not allowed to do that. Also the menorah. The menorah is the most common. You're not allowed to make a menorah like they have in the Beit HaMikdash. That's why if you see the menorah that we have, even though you might not make the same measurements and the same size, but you're making it in the same image, you'll not be allowed to. Even if you want to make different types of metals. That's why you see today when we make menorah, we either make 6 or we make 8. We don't make 7. Right? And the Beit HaMikdash is 7. Right? You have 3 this way, 3 that. When you have one in the middle, any menorah that you see everywhere, we do not do 7. Why? Because you're not allowed to make a menorah like they had in the Beit HaMikdash. We don't make 7. Right? But you have 5, 6, or 8 is okay. Right? It doesn't make a difference whether or not you're making it round or you're making it, like more boxing. It's irrelevant. Right? However, Rav Ovadia says, what about the electric menorot? The electric ones they sell. You plug it in.
Yes.
So he says over there, the electric ones, it doesn't really resemble anything. It's different. Doesn't have a bed kibble, no nothing. Rav Ovadia's makel. I can't tell you everybody's makel. There are poskim that are asr over there. It's better to stay away from 7 lights in a menorah. Right? That's usually what they give. Somebody chas v'shalom gets stuck in a hospital, something like that, over Shabbat, Bar Minan, that's what they give. They give them those menorahs that are electric. Right? They get the electric ones.
What?
If people go to the hospital for Shabbat, whatever it is, they give them the electric ones.
The light?
Yeah.
For a candle, you mean?
Yeah, they don't give them real candles, they give them electric. Yeah, they give them electric. I said, it's okay. You could say a bracha on the electric ones. Right?
No, but I said bracha by
What?
the Zoom.
You could say a bracha, you could say a bracha.
By Zoom?
Yeah. Yeah, on Shabbat. Who? Hanukkah, no. Hanukkah is different. Yeah, and Shabbat, the whole Ikr is the or. So you have or, you're allowed to. So there's different types of menorah. There's machloket if it's fluorescent LED or not. Right? Those are more of nothing but machloket. But the ones that they give in a hospital, they purposely give you the ones that are still isudoraita to light. We need to say, right now, this light bulb, if I turn on the light, right, this light bulb, it's not an isudoraita on Shabbat. Why? Because the light bulb itself doesn't have any fire, doesn't have any flame, doesn't turn red, nothing really. Right, there's nothing in there that represents a fire, but the old light bulbs that we used to have is 2 little metal things and the metal thing in the middle, filament, whatever it's called. When you turn it on, it turns red. Right, so if you take a metal and you turn it red, that's considered ish. That's considered isudoraita on Shabbat. So if you have that, that's really kamish. That's really considered fire. LED, no. Right, LED is the rabbanan on Shabbat. Right, but if you have those incandescent light bulbs, the ones that really turn red, those would be an isudoraita on Shabbat. That's mamash, that's a fire, right? That's the Rambam writes, right? That if you take fire, if you take metal and you turn it red, that's considered already havara. So those are the ones that they give in the hospitals. Why? Because those you don't have machloket. Those mamash considered ish. You can say bracha and you can plug it in. It's not a problem, right? You can say bracha and you can plug it in. Some people, sometimes they get stuck. You go away for Shabbat, you go to upstate, you go here, you go there. Get stuck, you don't have lights, you don't have anything. What are you supposed to do? How are you going to say bracha of lighting the candles? Right? So there are poskim that say, and you could say bracha on the light. You say bracha, you turn on the light.
Kind of
Lalik near Shabbat.
Candles light.
Oh, you put it on that?
B'diavad, you're allowed to. It's machloket whether it's fluorescent or LED. I think that Rav Ovadia, if I remember correctly, I have to check again. I think Rav Ovadia says even the fluorescent ones, even the LED lights, you could say bracha and light it. I have to check again, but I'm pretty sure. If I remember correctly, that's what I remember that he held. Not everybody agrees, but l'maisa b'diavad, you could rely on the Shata Dachak.
But then that's like a catch-22.
Why?
It's okay that the old bulbs, they get hot. These, the LEDs, is okay. But then it's okay to represent it as a candle? Is that, did I understand
Yeah, because
that correctly?
I'll tell you why. Because in Shabbat, what's the purpose of lighting the candles in Shabbat? Right? To have light. To shalom bayit, to have light, to be able to see what you're eating. Right? That's the whole purpose. You're fulfilling the purpose with those lights. There are poskim that hold that when you want to light the candles on Shabbat, you have to turn off the lights that you have at home. Because if you have lights on, you're turning on the candles. It's considered like you have a candle, you're lighting another candle. When you light another candle, you don't say bracha. We don't hold like that, but at the end of the day, there are poskim that see. See, the light is something might be sufficient enough. B'diavad, right? If you're stuck in such a situation, you couldn't. L'chatchila, it should be on the table. If it's safe, if not, you could put it somewhere where you could see it when you're making kiddush. It's also okay, right? In the room that you're eating is also okay. Some people are scared to put it on the table, right? People eat, people move things around, especially if you have guests or you have kids that jump around like monkeys. That you don't want to put yourself in that situation, right? Motal, yes.
So we read every Friday that about Bangladesh the king, you're not allowed to use any of the oil that you would for other purposes. But the light, can you use it for any purpose, or are there also restrictions on what you can use the light for?
On Shabbat, you could use it for general things, but you can't use it for things that require meticulousness. We need to say that if I'm sitting next to a light, right? If I'm sitting next to a light and I want to read and I need to go like this because it's dark, so they're not allowed. When Chamim said we're scared, you might tilt a little bit, maybe bring it close to you a little bit, right? But if you're just using it to eat, like in a general, it's lighting for you enough light to eat, or to use, to walk, and to see, that's okay, that's fine. Only like meticulous uses where you need to come close to the light in order to be able to use it, that's asur lefi halacha.
To make the Shabbat candles,
Yeah.
you need to have oil that is edible, right?
Lechatchila.
Huh?
Lechatchila.
That's the best way.
That's the best way.
Can it be two different oils?
What does that mean?
Cottonseed oil and olive oil, for instance, come in one bottle.
You could the best oil to use is olive oil. The best oil to use is olive oil. But if you don't have olive oil, you can use any oil you want, as long as
Yesterday I went to buy oil, and there's in one it says virgin. Olive oil and cottonseed oil.
mixed.
Mix in one buy. Yeah.
I never saw that.
That's what it said.
They probably do, a lot of the companies, what they do is that you have oil that's used in major factories for cooking, and then afterwards they send it to an oil company. They re-clean it, refilter it, restore it, and reuse it. So maybe they started to figure out a way to save money and make more money. I don't know. Right? Not all the oil that we have, not all the olive oil that we have is real olive oil, and not all the oil that we have is pure, clean, fresh oil. A lot of the oils could be used and previously used, and they refilter it and remake it and re-clean it and resell it. So I don't know what the chokhmah over there is, but lechatchila it should be pure olive oil. Lechatchila, edible, pure, clean olive oil. Not every olive oil is also real. You have to see which one is real. I'm pretty sure the one at Costco is real. Usually Costco stands behind their brands. Usually sell like higher end products. I don't, right? So the best thing is to use olive oil. I'm not promoting Costco. I don't have stocks in Costco. I'm just saying, that they usually have higher end products, right?
One in one pack.
Yeah. So if you can have the olive oil as the number one thing, and after that you could use whatever you want. Chamim say if a person is careful to light proper candles for proper lighting for mitzvot, he'll be zocheh to have children that are Talmidei Chamim. Of course, if he does everything else aligned with that, if it's then just right, but it says that why was Shaul HaMelech zocheh to be the first king? Why was Shaul HaMelech zocheh to be the first king? It says because I think his father used to be very careful that in dark alleyways he used to put lights everywhere so people could see. Right? They say also if a person wants to have children Talmidei Chamim, it's the biggest chut in the shul to pay for the electric bill. Right? Because you're paying, it's like the menorah in the Beit HaMikdash. You're paying for the electric bill. That's the biggest chut in order to have in the shul. Right, because you're paying for people who use the light to learn to sit all day. That's like that's an accepted thing.
How long is supposed to be Shabbat candles to be on the fire? Like 40 minutes, about 1 hour?
As long as you give it enough, as long as they're lit after Shabbat started to the point where you had the ability to use it for Shabbat. Right? There's no real minimum.
I came from Sinai, it's already drunk.
That's a problem. That's a
It
problem.
takes me 1.5 hours.
So you have to put it for 2-3 hours. No, you have to do it in a way that when I come home, it's still there and I could use it even for a little bit, that's fine. But if I turn on Shabbat candles before I leave and then I didn't even use it, I come back and it's off, it's a problem.
Do you have to use it?
What?
Do you have to use it?
It has to be on when you're there at home. Even though you're not physically using it, you can look at it. When you walk home, when you walk into the house, the Ben Ish Chai writes, you look at the candles, you think to yourself, Zechor v'Shamor et Yom HaShabbat, you look at it, you say Kiddush, you look at it already, it's already should be okay already. It's not...
Oh, that you don't spend any time with it? It's good to spend time with it?
So what you could do is, if you're stuck and you don't have that much oil and you're concerned it might turn off, when you say the bracha on the candles, have in mind, the lights in your house also a part of the bracha of the candles.
He was started, but he, the wax candle.
Yeah. Must.
Put a little bit more. Put a little bit more. Right?
Знаете, нам же оно идет 5 часов.
Я боюсь, что у меня там огонь изгорел. Она стоит под деревом.
No good, bro.
На стол
Why
поставить?
hold it by the kitchen?
Как под деревом? How под деревом? You have your candles under the tree?
Under the cabinet. The
Wood.
cabinet
No,
is here.
doesn't sound too safe to me. Put it somewhere else.
Put on the table.
I have no place.
Put on the table.
Dining room table.
On the table put it. On the dining room table put it. Где вы кушаете, поставьте.
But right when is now, my mom cannot walk.
You do it.
I leave from my house 6:45. She put candle like 8:05 now.
Buy lower one. Menorah put lower one. Don't put long standing one.
No, it's like this.
Short one put. Okay, make even shorter. If you feel that it's dangerous, make even shorter maybe. Or maybe on the bottom of the cabin over there, put metal. Take a piece of metal that's not flammable and drill it in.
Cups.
Wait, a shady for the shady.
You could use fatter cups, doesn't have to be taller. Or you could put metal under the cabinet, put something that's not flammable. I don't know if aluminum foil would work. I don't know if aluminum
That's
foil would
supposed
work.
to came from synagogue, I have to see it, right?
Your mother is there, it's okay.
No, you said fire supposed
Your
to
mother
be
is there, it's home. She's home. She's already benefiting. If after she lit from it, she's already benefiting from Shadir Shabbat. That's not so much of it, as long as somebody uses it.
Rabbis also like to mention that it's a segula for the husband to prepare the candles or the.
Yes,
oil
it is a
or wicks.
segula. The husband should prepare something for Shabbat. So the custom is that they do something. You could sweep the house, you could prepare the candles, or you could cook something. Everybody's different, right? Whatever you decide to do, you could do. But it's for sure good for the husband to do stuff.
He's asking segula for what?
What? To prepare the candles? It's not specifically a segula for anything. It's a segula for Shalom Bayit, you could call it, right? Right? To do stuff around the house. There is a segula for Shalom Bayit, Erev Shabbat, is to remove all the spider webs from the house, to clean all the spider webs in the corner of the house. That's a segula for Shalom Bayit. And the segula for Parnasai Erev Shabbat, they say is to sharpen your knives. That's mentioned in the poskim. You sharpen your knives so they could use properly for Shabbat. These two are big segula for Shalom Bayit and Parnasai. That's what they write. Right? That's what they write. The biggest segula is to daven. When you pray to Hashem, it's the biggest segula, right? To pray for whatever you need. Now, if a goy built a menorah or built a house like the Hichal or like the Bet HaMikdash, you're not allowed to use it, you're not allowed to rent it, you're not allowed to do anything with it. Right? Say if you have a goy that he decided to make a menorah, right? Like the ones that had the Bet HaMikdash, you wanted to make it for you, a Jewish customer, he said, I want to buy you, your his co-worker, whatever it is, he wants to make something very special for you. So he goes to see the menorah from the Bet HaMikdash and he makes it for you and he gives it to you. Right? You're not allowed. Right? You're not allowed to have it, you're not allowed to keep it.
So
When you buy a menorah, it has to be
Just
made
add
of
it. What?
You're not allowed to buy a menorah?
No, you can't have a menorah that has 7 cups. It has to have 6 or 8 or 10 or more or less. You can't have 7.
The same one as what they used
You
to
can't make the same. You can't be done with the Bet HaMikdash.
Почему 7? 8 же надо. 7.
Shabbat, we give it in. Not Chanukah. Right? So you have, if you do the Bet HaMikdash for 7, you can't have 7. You can do 8, you can do 10. So if somebody gave you one that's 7, add. Take it to Judah, tell them to add. Tell them to put 1 or 2 more in order to remove it from the Isser. You don't have to throw it out, you can just tell them to add it. Right? That's also okay.
Have you ever seen a menorah with 6? I've only seen, I think, 8.
I have 6 at home.
You have 6?
Yeah.
How does it work? Is it just 3 and 3, nothing in the middle?
It's round. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 around and 1 in the middle. Right? I got the one at 6.
That's the Hanukkah?
No, 6
No,
they have
Shabbat.
7, they have 8, 9,
No, 7 I see.
You
but
have 6
I don't
in it,
see.
like?
5 I've seen.
I think so. I don't know. I went to my friend took me with him to I don't know, on the 47th Street somewhere to the silver store, so I bought it over there. Right, that's what they had. They had either that one or a big massive
No,
one.
they have it for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 I've seen.
Yeah, 7 is a problem, but everything else is
7 is
okay.
a problem?
Yeah, we just said 7 is a problem.
No,
You can't-
for lighting Shabbat candles?
No, you can light 7, but you can't have 7 cups. If you have a menorah that has 7,
No, Rabbi, it's like a candle roller for Shabbat. I like 7 candles.
you could light 7, but you need to have more than 7 cups on it.
No, 7 cups. It's 6 and 1 in the middle. Shabbat with olive oil. I like my wife. I like.
So add one more.
There's only 7 there.
There's only 7 there.
That's what you're saying, 6 and 1. That's what you're saying.
Tov, we'll have
6
to
and
find.
1.
We have to find your pitaron. What?
Really?
You're saying the same thing, 6 and 1. You're saying
That's
the same
7.
thing.
No, he had 5
Yes,
and
5
1.
and
Oh,
1.
you said 5 and 1?
Why
5
would
and
that be a
1, yeah.
problem?
Because you can't make a menorah that resembles the menorah in the base of
That's not really
Mikdash.
menorah. Menorah is 1 in the middle and 3.
That's true. You have to see if there's a difference in shape. It could be that there's a difference in shape.
Of course, it's round.
I know that the poskim say that it's irrelevant of what image it is. If you have 7 kaneh menorah, it would be a problem. I have to see if round might be a little bit different. I'll check for you, I'll let you know. רבי חנניה בן הגשוע אומר, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא את הקודש צדק, לפיכך חורבן מותנו מצוות שמונה ברכה וצמאת צדקו, גדול תורה